A new bombshell report by Bloomberg Market magazine is shedding light on a massive bailout given to banks in 2008. Now, according to the report, quote, the Fed didn't tell anyone which banks were in trouble so deep that they required a combined $1.2 trillion on December the 5th, 2008, which was their single neediest day. And bankers didn't mention that they took tens of billions of dollars in emergency loans at the same time that they were assuring investors that their firms were healthy. And no one calculated until now that banks reaped an estimated $13 billion of income by taking advantage of the Fed's below market rates. Joining me now with reaction from the Fox Business Network, the CEO of WStreet.com, Charles Payne, and the author of American Individualism, Fox News contributor Margaret Hoover. Guys, good to see you.
Good to be here.
Okay, this is an inside joke. All right. Let me start. You said something before we came on the air. How is it nobody knew, and how is it nobody's even talking about it?
I can't believe this isn't a bigger story when you think about how much outrage TARP incurred. TARP, which was $700 billion. And what you have here, Citigroup itself got $45 billion in TARP. They got double that. With these secret loans that Chairman Bernanke was doing without any congressional oversight. Nobody knew about this. And guess who wrote the plan? Tim Geithner, when he was chair of the New York Federal Reserve.
Right.
So this is it's sort of a classic case of the Federal Reserve helping big banks get bigger, while at the exact same time, Main Street was doing terribly. Local banks, community banks, family businesses are failing, not able to get loans, community banks failing, small businesses can't get capitalized, can't get loans, and we're losing jobs at whatever rate at then
they're not even lending money to the public.
Forget about ordinary folks getting loans. So I mean, you talk about crony capitalism, you talk about a lot of these themes that are going to be consistent throughout the next year when we talk about this election, and I can't figure out why this is not a bigger story.
Give us time. It'll get there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the news itself was out, and I've been wondering for a long time, for months now, why it hasn't been a big story. But the idea that they made this much money off of this, $13 billion they put in their pocket, no accountability whatsoever. To Margaret's point, the rest of the world going begging, $7.7 trillion in loans. What could we have done with that money if we used it in a different way? People always say we can't let these banks fail.
How do they get the ability to do this?
21,000 transactions, private transactions. Here's the deal. You've got what they call primary dealers, right? These are big banks that only have a great lifeline to the Federal Reserve. Out of 21 of them, 12 are foreign. They're foreign banks. It's just, you can't even make this stuff up.
Listen, wait a minute. We give money to Brazil so we could be their best customer when it comes to exploring for oil. We fund, through the stimulus plan, an electric car company in Finland. So,
oh, by the way, we're going to bail out Europe through the IMF. Yeah, I know. I get all of that. But we're talking $7 trillion, and maybe half of it went to banks overseas. Are you kidding me? And no one knew about it except the people,
Ben Bernanke has got to go.
And a lot of this, frankly, is that there are 29,000 pages that we got through the Freedom of Information Act, and nobody, I mean, it's just been released. So 29,000 pages is a lot of material to pour through. So I think you're right. I think there's going to be a lot more coming.
Some people say that we ought to audit the Federal Reserve. Here's what I do know. The Federal Reserve already has so many internal audits, it's ridiculous. I don't know why people think we're going to learn this great amount of information by auditing the Federal Reserve. I think a lot of people are calling for this audit of the Federal Reserve because they don't know enough about it. There's no hidden secrets going on in the Federal Reserve to my knowledge. We don't need to waste money with another commission or an audit that's not necessary. Because, folks, we got a lot of other problems we need to worry about.
I have said, I don't think you're going to find anything to audit on the Federal Reserve. I get the same stupid question at almost every one of these events. I know it's a deliberate strategy. How can a person randomly show up at 100 events and ask the same stupid question to try to nail me on the Federal Reserve? It's really becoming annoying.
I think Ben Bernanke is a student of monetary policy. He's doing as good a job as he thinks he can do in the Federal Reserve. But look, I'm not going to spend my time going after Ben Bernanke. I'm not going to take my effort and focus on the Federal Reserve. I'm going to focus my effort on the administration.